Hello everyone, my name is Gabby and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super review. This time we're reviewing episode 50. Black arrives in the past and Goku, being Goku, immediately tries to fight him. But Black is fine with this, even fine with being beaten, saying that it'll help him get stronger. But before the two of them can really start fighting seriously, Black gets suddenly forced back to the future. His ring of time let him follow the distortions left by the time machine, but once those heals, it forced him back to his own time. But before he disappears, Black destroys Trunks' time machine so he can't return to threaten him. Trunks starts to despair, but Bulma has an idea. She rushes to her lab and brings out the time machine Cell was in. So, what did I like about this episode? Well, first of all, I honestly kind of enjoyed what they did with the Goku and Goku Black fight. I mean, I know before I've said that Goku Black kind of sounds like a fanfiction villain, but I've got to say, if he was really a villain from a bad fanfiction, he would be introduced by, defeating all of the main characters within about 5 seconds, laughing evilly, and then somewhat stupidly still leaving the heroes alive so they can have time to train to fight them. But in this story, this was not the case. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. It wasn't Black who was the really, really strong one. It was Goku. Because we knew that Goku in that fight was holding back immensely. And the fact that Super Saiyan 2 Goku seemed to be enough to at least legitimately threaten Black. Obviously, Black was still holding back a bit in his fight, and he was also getting stronger, but the fact that by the end of the fight, Goku and Vegeta sort of talk about how strong he is, and then they're like, oh yeah, I mean, by how strong we are now, that's not really a challenge. We could beat him pretty simply. So, I've got to say, it's definitely an interesting way of introducing a villain. And once again, I also have to say that the writing in this arc has been really great, and that there's been so many, continuity nods that are actually, proper continuity nods and not just put there for fan service. The fact that after Trunks' time machine was destroyed, Bulma goes and she doesn't know what to do, and then she decides to take out the time machine that Cell traveled in and use that one as a kind of a template. And I'm like, that is just such a great idea. First of all, it's a really good continuity nod to something that I honestly wouldn't have thought of. And second of all, it's also kind of thematically, this is sort of a way of getting something good out of that whole Cell crisis. The fact that obviously when Cell appeared, it was a really bad thing, but now something good came out of it, and that's we've got this extra time machine, and they're going to use that to help save Trunks' time. Cell indirectly contributed to helping save Trunks' time. I think that is just amazing, even if that's just an unintentional thing about this plot point. But everyone, I think we should just all, right now, just take a moment of silence to just remember Trunks' time machine. We have gone through a lot together. Okay, moment of silence over. And also just a minor thing that I know I probably care about way more than other people, but in a moment when Trunks is just sort of staring at the time machine, thinking all hope is lost, but then Vegeta's don't worry, there's still hope and stuff. There's this slow kind of piano version remix of Chozetsu Dynamic playing. There's I think this is a new musical track. I've not heard this before. And I was like, this track is awesome. It's a remix of the main theme. I know other anime does do this a lot. Whenever they have different remixes of the main theme. And even Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z did it sometimes. But Dragon Ball Super had not really remixed Chozetsu Dynamic in any proper way. Not even in the next episode preview. So I was like, this is a cool track. I want you to use this when this is relevant. And why did it take you 50 episodes to use it, or even write it, or do anything with it? As for what I didn't like about this episode, well, this is something that's a bit less of a proper criticism and more just something that I'm kind of surprised about. And that's just the fact that Goku Black's first introduction is not very amazing. I mean, he's not very powerful. The fact that Goku was holding back so much. The fact that he's holding back these sort of 2 tiers of power, maybe even more if you consider the whole, if God keys, separate forms, or whatever. So, he's holding back at least, 2 separate forms, and he's still enough to threaten Goku Black. But see, the problem with, having Goku hold back so much is it means that Goku Black's first introduction, he's not particularly threatening. He's intimidating. He looks evil enough. He does evil actions, and I think Matsuko Nozawa's having a ball just playing this evil version of Goku, but he's not threatening. Right now, I don't realistically believe that he could be a threat, just because of how big the power gap between Goku and Goku Black is. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming he is going to be a threat, but I'm just saying just the impression that they sent, the first impression that we really got of Black's kind of power and his ability to be a main villain, if he's going to be a main villain at all. I mean, this probably is intentional, the fact that they introduced Goku Black as so weak, so eventually he will just get stronger and stronger until he does become like an actual legitimate threat. But when you introduce a villain, you would expect them to try and like give them as much of a big first impression as possible. They didn't really do that with Black, and I'm just wondering if that's going to make people not really take him seriously. As for next episode, looks like we're going to get maybe a bit of a flashback episode. It seems like what's going to happen is like Bulma is just going to be repairing the time machine, getting this new time machine ready, and in the meantime, it seems like Trunks is just going to explain what life in the future was like with Goku Black kind of just trying to destroy everything, which I'm going to say does sound really interesting. It seems like now, because they're just kind of waiting for the new time machine so they can actually face Black again, so the plot has kind of grinded to a halt a little bit. So it seems like this next episode might not be that important, but I'm still going to find it interesting because we're probably going to learn a lot more about Future Trunks' timeline, and there's stuff about Mai there, because I really want to see what Mai's role is going to be. That's something that I've honestly been really interested in. So that was Dragon Ball Super episode 50. I mean, I've got to say, from this point onwards, it feels like, while these concepts are feeling a little bit like fanfiction, it feels like the execution is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Goku Black is not just generic bad guy who looks like Goku who's going to kill you or something. There was a lot of stuff brought up in this episode being like, well, first of all, he might not even really be Goku, and he's more like someone of the body of Goku, and then just all the fact that it's just like, he seems to have more ulterior motives than just being evil, I guess. I mean, we don't really know, but just basically the stuff in this episode, once again, they're just sort of progressively giving us more information of this sort of almost mystery, something we haven't really seen since like the introduction of Cell. We haven't really seen a mystery in this series since something like that. I'm finding it really interesting, and I do want to know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't really care particularly about speculation. I don't really have any proper theories that I really care about Black's identity. But the fact that it is leaving a mystery, and it also is so open that people have so many different theories about it, I think is definitely a success. I mean, I'm looking forward to the next episode. I'm also especially looking forward to the episode after that, because judging by the title, it might be interesting. It might give me something I want and something I don't want. We'll see. We'll see in 2 weeks. So this is Gabby, signing out, and I'll see you all next week. Bye, guys.